Today's lesson is Just Pack and Go, the joy of mystery travel. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam.
And my name is Roger, and today we're going to go on a mystery tour. We're going to talk about the joy of mystery travel that is kind of unusual.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I know exactly what they're talking about because in my brain, I'm like, how could you go travel and have any part of it be a mystery? Don't you need to plan every small detail of a travel like I do? I've planned every teeny tiny detail, so how could it be a mystery?
Yeah, that's a good question, and of course that means you're not really knowing where you're going to go. It's not maybe the same as the old Beatles song, The Magical Mystery Tour. Roll up for the Magical Mystery Tour. Step right this way. No, in this particular case, you're actually going to sign up for a travel, or a trip rather, and then they're going to send you someplace and you have no idea where you're going. But this idea is getting more and more popular. Just pack and go, the joy of mystery travel. Let's find out what this is all about. Let's listen to the first paragraph right now.
Just pack and go, the joy of mystery travel. Planning a vacation should be fun, but faced with too many options, many of today's travelers are finding the experience more stressful than exciting. According to Time Out, a recent study found that the average traveler viewed at least 140 web pages before picking a destination. Add to that the recommendations of friends, family, and online influencers, and you can find yourself going down a seemingly endless rabbit hole.
大家好，第一部分介绍形容词 stressful， 它的意思是有压力的、令人紧张的。例如 I need a break after a few very stressful weeks at work. 令人紧张的工作了几周之后，我需要休息一下。或者 The week before exams is always stressful. 考试前的一周压力总是很大。下一个看到名词 influencer， 指对他人有影响力的人。例如The brand collaborated with a travel influencer for promotion. 这个品牌与一位旅游网红合作推广产品。也可以说 Many influencers earn money by sharing sponsored content. 许多网红透过分享赞助内容来赚钱。
All right, so let's jump on in. And it says, planning a vacation should be fun, but faced with too many options, many of today's travelers are finding the experience more stressful than exciting. I could definitely put myself in that category because the last little trip that I tried to take, even on the small island that I was going to visit, there were still so many hotels and I felt very overwhelmed and stressed trying to choose one, even though it was just a short little vacation. And I'm sure all of the hotels would have been great, but it felt very stressful or full of stress. It gave me a lot of stress. I felt kind of tense and nervous trying to make a decision on which hotel to choose.
Exactly. And of course, people do like to plan ahead. You don't want to arrive in, say, Bali in Indonesia and not know exactly where you're going to stay. Other people are more spontaneous. You can just go someplace and I'll go to Palau or I'll go to India. And when I get there, I'll just play it by ear. I'll just figure out where I'm going to go when I get there. And so I guess this is the other extreme, not really knowing where you're going at all. But yeah, it should be fun to plan a vacation. But if you have all those different choices, well, it can be very stressful. Stressful just means there's a lot of pressure, as you said, trying to figure out what hotel to stay at, what sort of activities to participate in, what to see, what to do, stuff like that. And yes, indeed, it's more stressful than exciting. I can relate to that. Sometimes you're supposed to have fun on a vacation, but it can actually be more stressful than actually staying home and working.
Yes, I definitely agree. I usually say I need a vacation from my vacation when I come back home. I need another day to kind of get back into the swing of things. And according to Time Out, back to our article, it says, a recent study found that the average traveler viewed at least 140 web pages before picking a destination. Again, I very much can relate to this, trying to research everything. And it says, add to that the recommendations recommendations of friends, family, and online influencers, and you can find yourself going down a seemingly endless rabbit hole.
Okay, so a rabbit hole, of course, is a hole in the ground where rabbits go. But this is a reference, of course, to the adventures of Alice in Wonderland when she went down into that rabbit hole. All sorts of crazy things happened. So if you go into a rabbit hole, you're just going to a place where you're not certain of. It's kind of confusing and you just don't know what's going to happen. So yes, indeed, you're going to have lots of recommendations from friends. Oh, I think you should go to Australia, or I think you should go to South Africa. These are recommendations. They've been there. They know something about it. So that's what a recommendation is. Somebody gives you some special information that they have and you don't. So you have friends who'll recommend a certain destination. Oh, you should go to Osaka, or you should go to Mongolia, or whatever. And then we've got online influencers, people online who have web pages or YouTube pages or whatever. And, of course, they'll give you some advice as well. That's what we call these people who are famous online. They have websites or YouTube channels. They're called influencers.
Yes, their whole job is to try to influence you to do something. And when you influence something, you are trying to get somebody to kind of follow, or you're trying to have some kind of input on their decision making. And so a lot of influencers who are more famous on Instagram or whatever website it might be, they will get paid by companies to come and say, hey, look at this amazing hotel, look at all the features that they have. If you are traveling to this place, then you should stay here. And they make it look like it's super amazing and awesome, and I'm sure that a lot of them are, but they do get paid to do that. So it is good to remember that these influencers are not necessarily acting totally on their own thoughts. They do have some influence also from who is paying them.
Yep, so basically the first paragraph in today's lesson is telling us that planning a vacation or planning a holiday can be quite stressful and quite complicated. So let's now move on to the second part and talk about this new trend in travel.
However, a new trend aims to avoid this frustration. It's called mystery travel, and it's taking off around the world. A mystery vacation could land you at the pyramids of Egypt or in beautiful Barcelona, but you won't know where you're going until you get to the airport or, in some cases, arrive at your destination. Simply fill out a pre-travel questionnaire, and the travel company booking the trip will take care of the rest.
第二部分看到这个名词 frustration 表示沮丧、挫折。例如 The constant construction delays have been a big source of frustration for us. 施工不断延迟对我们而言是挫折感的一大来源。或是 Catherine experienced a lot of frustration trying to figure out the math problem. Catherine 试着解开那个数学问题时经历许多挫折。继续看到形容词 pre-travel 意思是行前的。例如 A pre-travel checklist can help prevent forgetting essentials. 行前清单能帮助你避免遗漏重要物品。再看一个例子 Pre-travel arrangements include booking flights and accommodation. 行前安排包括订机票和住宿。接着介绍名词 questionnaire 表示问卷调查、调查表。我们可以说 The students were asked to fill out a short questionnaire. 学生们被要求填写一份简短的问卷。又或者说We sent out a customer satisfaction questionnaire after the event. 活动结束后，我们发送了一份顾客满意度问卷。
Yes, and so now we see in the second part it says, however, a new trend aims to avoid this frustration of feeling overwhelmed about the booking and planning process. And if you're feeling frustrated, that means that you feel like you're almost a little bit stuck, like you can't get past what you are trying to do. You feel like you can't get to the right answer, or you feel like you have too many things that you're trying to do, and you feel like you're kind of just in this weird stuck spot, and it's causing you some stress, it might be causing you some anxiety, and you're feeling very frustrated. And this idea that you have to plan everything, that can cause frustration, to use the noun form.
Right, so in American English, we pronounce this as being frustrated. Oh, I feel so frustrated because I just can't get this job done on time. I think in England, they tend to say frustrated. They put the accent on the second syllable in that word. But frustration, of course, is the noun. It just refers to the situation in which you're just not getting what you want. It's very annoying, and you just feel like tearing your hair out. And it's called mystery travel, and it's taking off around the world. Interesting use of taking off there. To take off means that a plane or a jet goes into the air. It takes off from the ground and begins its trip to another destination. But also to take off just means something starts or becomes popular. And yes, mystery travel has begun to become popular everywhere in the world.
Yes, and it says a mystery vacation could land you at the pyramids of Egypt or in beautiful Barcelona, but you won't know where you're going until you get to the airport or, in some cases, arrive at your destination. Again, for me, that sounds very stressful to not know where I am going. But it says a mystery vacation could land you at the pyramids of Egypt. The pyramids are those triangular pyramid-shaped objects that were built a long time ago in Egypt. They are very famous. They are very giant. I think everybody really knows the pyramids of Giza. It's a very amazing place to visit. And I think it's one of those places that is on a lot of people's bucket lists of places they would like to visit in their lifetime before they kind of get to the point where they don't want to travel anymore.
Well, I would like to go there, but there are lots of places I haven't been to that I'd rather go to than the pyramids of Egypt. But this, of course, is an example of a destination that you might end up at if you sign up for a mystery vacation. You might go to those pyramids in Egypt, or you might go to Barcelona in Spain, but you won't know where you're going until you get to the airport, or in some cases, you may not even know until you actually land at your destination. I'm not sure quite how you'll know that because, of course, there'll be announcements in the airport. The flight for Barcelona is boarding at gates such and such. So it might be difficult to keep things a secret for very long there. But still, the idea is kind of interesting. You just kind of take a gamble. Here, take my money and then send me someplace I've never been to before. It's a mystery vacation. And yes, I guess that's for people who've already traveled a lot. They want to be surprised.
Yes, and so at least the next part tells us that it's not necessarily 100% a mystery because it says simply fill out a pre-travel questionnaire and the travel company booking the trip will take care of the rest. Pre-travel just means before you travel, before you leave. So pre-travel questionnaire, you fill out a questionnaire, which is a list of questions that you would answer so that the company can get some more information about you. And so luckily you do this first. So it's not like you're going to end up somewhere that you are guaranteed to hate, that you never wanted to go to, because you did put on your questionnaire the types of places that you're more interested in. So hopefully the company that is booking the trip will take this in mind and actually send you somewhere that you would enjoy.
Right, so it's a questionnaire. It's got lots of questions. They'll probably ask you places you've been to before, what kind of place you'd like to go to. Would you like to go to a nice warm place or a nice cold place or whatever? Do you like food? Do you like culture? Do you like museums and things like that? And then they'll figure out where to send you. This, of course, is a pre-travel questionnaire. It happens before you actually travel. And yes, then they'll book the trip for you. They'll make all the arrangements, and you just let them do the rest, and you can enjoy yourself. Okay, we're at the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Here comes the third and final part.
Of course, mystery travel isn't for everyone. For example, if you have special dietary needs or mobility issues, a mystery trip might not be ideal. However, if you love surprises and want to shake up your travels, a mystery vacation could be just the ticket. No stress, no planning, just pack and go. Who knows? Your best trip yet might be the one you never expected.
第三部分看到形容词 dietary， 它表示有关饮食的。 可以说 Henry's doctor recommended that he change his dietary habits. Henry 的医生建议他改变饮食习惯。也可以说 Please let us know in advance if you have any special dietary needs. 如果您有任何特殊的饮食需求，请提前告诉我们。最后看到 mobility 这个单字，它是名词，指的是活动性、流动性。举例来说 This country has great social mobility, which gives hardworking poor families the power to become rich. 这个国家的社会流动性很高，努力工作的清贫家庭也有能力变富有。或者 A wheelchair let the injured man have mobility around his house. 轮椅让受伤的男子可以在他的家中活动。
All right, in the final part, we find out that, of course, mystery travel isn't for everyone, which I think is kind of something that makes sense. I'm sure some of you listening already are thinking, nope, I would not like to do that. But there's some examples of groups of people that actually really probably shouldn't do this. And it says, for example, if you have special dietary needs or mobility issues, a mystery trip might not be ideal. And this makes a lot of sense because, yes, of course, you do the pre-travel questionnaire, but if you have special dietary needs and mobility issues, they might not be able to be accurately addressed when they are sending you to different places. Dietary just means referring to your diet or referring to what you eat or cannot eat. So basically all of the food and drinks that you would consume would be considered your diet. And some people need a special diet. Some people are allergic to certain things and need to be aware of those. And then mobility having to do with being mobile or being able to move. So if you have trouble walking longer distance, or maybe you have a bad knee so you can't climb, so you need to go places that are more flat and less walking, so those things might not be as easy to accommodate on this whole mystery trip phenomenon.
Exactly. So, for example, you might be a vegetarian, for example, but they might send you to some place like Argentina where they eat a lot of meat, and it will be very difficult for you to maintain your vegetarian diet. And yes, if you have mobility issues, you need to have those wheelchair ramps, and you can't have all those curbs in the sidewalks, so those things should be taken into consideration. However, if you love surprises and want to shake up your travels, a mystery vacation could be just the ticket. So yeah, you want to shake things up. You want to arrange things in such a way so that they're spontaneous and they're different. That's what to shake things up means. It just kind of makes it kind of unusual, kind of unexpected. So indeed, you just want to make it more interesting, and maybe it might be just the ticket. It might be just what the doctor ordered.
Yes, and so it says, no stress, no planning, just pack and go. Who knows? Your best trip yet might be the one you never expected. So yeah, no stress, no planning. You just need to pack a bag and then show up. But I kind of wonder, how exactly will you know what to pack? Because for me, not only am I kind of a planner as far as the actual trip goes, but I also feel like I always way overpack everything because I'm kind of like, well, what if it rains? What if it's hot this day? What if it's cold the next day? What if there are bugs that I need to wear long pants? So I feel like I would end up traveling with quite a lot of bags if I didn't know where I was going.
Well, travel agencies who arrange these things probably have thought about all those things. They may let you know that you're going to maybe a tropical place, so pack accordingly, or you may be going to a cold place. They may tell you that, but they won't tell you specifically where you're going. And again, if you want to plan ahead, you might actually ask them, well, where exactly are you sending me? But that would ruin the whole experience because it's supposed to be a surprise, and a surprise is something that you do not expect. So if they tell you where they're taking you, well, again, it will not be a mystery vacation, and of course, you might as well just travel to wherever you want to go in the first place. So indeed, this is all you have to do. Pack and go. And yes, indeed, you might go to some place that you really love and you never thought about going before, and you'll be glad you went.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson, and now we will pass it over to our Chinese teacher, Hanny, to see what she has to say.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny， 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一句提到 Faced with too many options, many of today's travelers are finding the experience more stressful than exciting. 面对太多的选择，现今的许多旅客觉得这种体验压力大于兴奋。那这边有几个重点。首先 face 当动词，它有面临面对的意思，像是面临困难挑战等等。我们要表达某人面对困难的事情时，可以用主动用法 somebody faces something 来强调某人迎接面对并处理某事，这就带有主动正面迎击的语义。那如果是用被动用法 somebody be faced with something， 这是强调在无奈、不情愿或被动的情况下面临或遭遇了某个困境。好，那这边造两个例句。The team is faced with a new challenge. 那个团队遭遇到一个新的挑战。They aren't ready to face the challenge. 他们还没准备好面临挑战。好，那这边也补充两个跟 face 有关的用法。第一个是 face the music， 这指的是对自己说过的话或者是为自己做过的事来承担后果，面对现实情况，然后做好可能遭受批评啊或者是处罚的准备。第二个介绍的是 let's face it 或者是 face it，这表示正视事实吧。那这个惯用语呢，是用来带出某件令人不悦或是不太想承认的事实，就可以用来表达说面对现实吧，实话实说吧。像是 Let's face it, we don't have any chance to win. 面对现实吧，我们没有任何赢的机会。好，那么第二个重点是 find 加受词加 to be 再加受词补语，这表示认为觉得某人或某事物怎么样怎么样。Find 在这边表示认为觉得。那受词之后接的这个受词补语常常是名词或形容词， to be 可以省略不用，所以呢我们就常常会看到 find加某人或某事物后面接了形容词或名词的结构，就像文中他用 finding the experience more stressful than exciting 表达说觉得这种体验压力大于兴奋。好，那至于 more A than B 可以表达比起 B 更像 A， 与其说是 B 不如说是 A， 在这个用法当中 A B 的词性要相同。例如 The sauce was more salty than spicy， 那个酱汁偏咸而不是辣。或者是也可以说 They are more classmates than friends， 他们更像是同学而不是朋友。特别注意，当比较的对象是单数可数名词时，常常会写作more of A than B， 会加一个 of。 例如 The movie is more of a comedy than a thriller， 那部电影与其说是惊悚片，不如说是喜剧片。好，那以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Stressful. Planning a wedding can be fun and exciting, but also extremely stressful. Recommendation. Before buying a new computer, it's a good idea to read some expert recommendations. Frustration. He sighed in deep frustration, realizing that he still hadn't found a solution. Pyramid. The Great Pyramid of Giza is one of the most famous ancient structures in the world. Questionnaire. My doctor asked me to complete a health questionnaire before my appointment. Dietary. Many athletes follow strict dietary requirements in order to achieve peak performance. Mobility. Following his operation, Mr. Wu had to work hard to regain his mobility.
Discussion Starter starts now!
And now we have a discussion starter, and it says, what would your ideal mystery travel experience be like, and why?
Well, if I could go anywhere on a mystery trip, I'd go to some place that is not a big hassle, okay? I don't want to go to some place where people are constantly coming up to you and they're trying to scam you, or they're trying to sell you something you don't want, or they want to take you on a tour for a cheap price. They won't leave you alone. I don't want to go to some place like that. I'd like to go to some place where they just won't bother me. How about you, Sam?
Well, my ideal mystery trip would actually be very similar to this, because I would love to go to somewhere warm and kind of by the ocean or by a beach, because I like that type of thing. But I also would like it to be just quiet and relaxing and peaceful, and not feel like I have to interact with people non-stop every single day, because in my mind, a vacation should be a getaway.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Sam.
See you next time.